you ever had a male teacher before?
Yes, I've had a male teacher before.
Have you ever had a male teacher before?
No.
I've never had a male teacher before.
Chris Paul winning a championship, a unicorn, and a male teacher in elementary school? Now, what do these things have in common, you might wonder? Well, they're pretty rare, and they don't exist. Today's video, we're going to talk about the absence of male teachers in elementary schools. Before we begin, it's important to talk about the point and the purpose of this project. I'm looking to raise awareness on the lack of male teachers, and I'm looking to explain to you guys why it's so important that we have male teachers teaching lower education and the importance of male role models for kids who may not have it at a young age. That brings us to our three main issues. 1, pay. 2, male teacher mental health and support. And 3, the stigma that comes with being a male teacher. And in this video, I'm going to talk about how to fix these problems and how we can encourage more male teachers to step up and join the field.
The first issue I want to talk about is the payment issue. Now, it's no secret that teachers are underpaid. Like, that's something that we would know. But it's also no secret that teachers aren't always treated right by, the schools, universities, organizations, whatever. That's why we have things like teacher labor unions and stuff like that, just to make sure that they're treated adequately. But the job and the responsibility that a teacher has, I feel like is not compensated enough. Like, these are the people that you're sending your kids to be with for the majority of their life, that they're growing up with, building a relationship with. And honestly, teachers aren't paid adequately. Now, for males, what I think this impact has is the pressure that comes with being a man, the pressure, especially if you want to have a family, of just being a provider. And that starts, financially. And it's like, if you're being underpaid and you're going to be underpaid, like, how are you going to provide for your family in maybe an adequate way or give them the life that you wanted to, which is going to steer men, to other fields. And teaching, like I said, it's not an easy job. Like, you have to have a lot of patience to do that, especially at elementary school, working with small children. I don't know, like, it just seems like more of the stigma that we'll talk about later, more of a feminine job. But the pay, I think, is the biggest issue with driving males away, because they want to provide at a high level. And some men just feel like they can't do it efficiently and effectively being a teacher. That brings me to the second issue, which would be the lack of importance shown to male teacher mental health. And this happens for a lot of reasons. The first one would just be like, gender stereotypes and stuff like that. Like, as a man, like, you're just expected to be, not talk about your feelings and show your emotions like that, because, like, you're labeled as quote unquote soft. That's just a thing that society's had a problem with for a long time. And hopefully that will change, but as of right now, I feel like that's just still a thing that's holding back male teacher mental health being taken seriously, because male teaching and teaching in general is just a very stressful job. It's like a lot of long hours, high stress, limited resources. So, sometimes male teachers could be pressured to maintain, the image of, oh, we're competent, we're in control. And it can be hard sometimes for male teachers to admit when they're struggling. And then the stigma around mental health, which we'll talk about later on in this video. But that's a big thing to me too. And then also, I feel like there's a limited support system, and there's just not a lot of access given to male teacher mental health. But that's hopefully what the survey in this video, which will be in the link in the description, will help out with. But yeah, that's my second main issue. I feel like male teacher mental health and how it's not. And that brings us to our third and final issue, which will be the stigma with male teaching. Like, from like a masculine perspective, like, that's the biggest one for me that I notice, is like teaching is seen as like a female or a feminine job. So men that do it, they might be discouraged to enter the teaching field because it's not seen as manly, even though nothing's wrong with it, because there's a lot that comes with being a male teacher, and it's a very important position. I also think that gender dynamics in the teaching world, as a male teacher, especially in early education, you might feel isolated with, like, there's not a lot of other men there. There's like a lot of girls there, so it's just like, it might feel like there's just no one to talk to sometimes, which would discourage men from entering the field. And also assumptions about motives, that people would just say, oh man, teacher, you can't be really interested in like teaching. You might have a passion for education just because, like, they might, oh, he just is bored, or, just want to take this job because it's easier. But really it's not. It's just like a lot of things that are wrong in assuming, like, why men would want to teach. And I think that stigma is a very toxic thing, and it drives men away from teaching. And that brings us to the solution. And this is how I think that we can solve this problem. The first thing we need to do is make sure that male teachers have a safe space and build a community, which is partially what the survey in the bio, again, of this video is for, just to make male teachers, like, build a community. Like, community is the most important thing when it comes to teaching. Like, every teacher needs to be united together. We need to make it a safe space for male teachers, to come to if they have issues, that they need to talk about. Like, they need to feel like they're welcome and open to talk about their problems. I think that's the first thing. The second thing is just to make teachers realize, like, the impact that you have. Like I said, you're not raising these kids, but you are away from home. Like, you're a role model, especially the young boys and girls too that may not have that in their life, may not have a father figure or a male present in their life. Like, a lot of male teachers at an early age, like, that's all, that you're all they have. So just taking your job seriously, I know you do, but just realizing the importance of your job and, like, why it's so necessary. Because, like, a good role model, good male role model, is proven to keep kids out of trouble, especially young kids, especially young black males too, out of jail, out the streets, but, like, realizing that they can have something more. And especially having a male or someone that looks like them to talk to, it relates on a different level, and it really helps. And in terms of pay, I feel like that's up to the government. I think we still need to be pushing for more pay, but that also is based on the economy too. So that's not something that maybe we can directly control, but it is something that we can work on and work to improve together. But like I said, the most important thing that we can do is build a community for male teachers and just take their mental health more than anything seriously. And with that being said, that's going to bring us to the end of the video. Hopefully you like this video. Make sure to fill out the survey in the bio of the video, sorry. And thank you for your time. Have a blessed one.